Here are the 8 ways I scaled my business to 8 figures in a little over 1.5 years, from March 2023 to November 2024, when we hit $10 million in annual revenue from just 1 million, almost a year and a half before that. So a little bit about me. I'm Eric Horowitz. I'm the owner of Enrichment, which teaches cooking classes to kids, and Clinic Assist, which helps dental clinics in Dubai grow their revenue. Let's teach you some lessons about business that I have learned over the years. So tip number 1 to grow your business to 8 figures is to create a fully running operational department. You have to have a team of people doing every part of the administrative part of your business to make it work. In my case, I had teams that were recruiting our instructors to teach cooking classes, training them, doing logistics, scheduling the workshops with our clients, and everything else. We right now have about a dozen plus people, 2 managers and a manager above them. And this allows me to do what I do best, which is sales. Operations is basically the part of the service after I sell something. I say, hi, here's the account management team, here are the operational people, and they go ahead and do everything. In the case of Enrichment, everything that works with the schools, the hiring of the chefs, the training, and the high quality of service throughout, from payroll to instructions to problem solving. When you have an operations team that runs without you, it is an amazing feeling, because finally you can just do a sale and pass it off to somebody and feel confident that it will be executed to the standards that are important to you. The second way I scaled my business to 8 figures is I then built a fully running sales team that was independent of me. A lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in the day-to-day where they are doing all the sales, and that was me. I remember I did all of the sales presentations for the school clients. I've done hundreds on Zoom. I have a PowerPoint, I have a script, and I got tired of it because it was very, very time consuming. Sometimes clients would miss meetings. I had to do a lot of follow-up. And I had one sales assistant, a guy named Raj in the Philippines, who's doing very well right now. He just bought his second house working for my company, which is absolutely amazing. But I met another company in my education space who had an amazing sales rep. I believe her name was Ali. I met her at a conference and I said to myself, you know what? I want someone like Ali. I want somebody that can do the entire sales process so I could delegate it and stop doing it. My team did a lot of recruiting, and we found a remote worker, a staff worker in El Salvador named Alex. And he was an expat, so he was able to, and you'll see him in all of our videos, he was our first sales rep that I hired. I liked him. He had good energy. He was passionate, great English, obviously. And he was actually able to go to the States later to attend conferences. But Alex was a key part because I taught him everything. Now, to teach somebody something, I had to provide them the PowerPoint, the script. They had to shadow me. I had to train them. They had to do role plays. We had to practice, and eventually got to a point where Alex could run the entire PowerPoint the way I liked it. And this thing is so dialed in, this PowerPoint, this presentation, I literally know when the client will laugh because they laugh at the same comment here and here. So when he would do it, if I didn't see the client laugh, I'm like, he's not doing it right. He has to change the script, because when you find something that works, you want to keep doing it and doing it. So eventually the sales rep process was completely delegated for Alex. So we had him run the entire process. We hired another sales rep named Gabby. And now I was the true, not just the sales rep and the sales manager, but I was just the sales manager. And within about 4 months, we were able to ascend Alex to the sales manager role. So now the entire sales process is delegated. The entire sales department is delegated. They pass everything to operations, and then the flywheel continues, and it comes back and sells again to the same client in the same district. And with those 2 pieces, you have to have the running operations and the running sales department. You now have freedom. But there's more. 3 is to delegate the CEO job. Now you're the manager of the managers, but guess what? If you really want to be free, you need somebody high level to do that. So in my situation, one of our operations, the operations director, her name is Slava. She's based in Ukraine, been with the company well over a year and a half. I basically told the entire team, hey guys, I would like somebody else to do this role. We call it the president, but it's basically CEO. And I said, who wants to do it? And she raised her hand. So we got to work, and in a couple of months, we were able to put her at the top, and I would train her on what a CEO does. You have to run the leadership meetings weekly, monthly, and quarterly. You have to problem solve at a very high level. You have to be able to manage the managers and do one-on-ones with them. You have to report on them. You have to make sure their departments are running well. And eventually she was able to do that job. So now you have everything delegated: operations, sales, finance is very part-time with a bookkeeper and accountant, and you have that person on top. In the book Traction by Gino Wickman, they call a visionary an integrator. I was the visionary. I could do big picture strategy. She was the integrator, taking care of all those day-to-day responsibilities to make sure the whole thing runs well. And so far, it's been going great. And the clients are happy. I'm happy. Now, I still have to work. I still have to help out when high-level things happen, when we're doing big expansions to new territories. But, you know, life is good, and I have a lot of free time to start my second venture, Clinic Assist. Tip number 4, you have to check the key numbers often. So at any point, I can go to any entrepreneur and say, do you know your numbers? Because guess what I do? I can pull up my phone, and I have a Google Sheet. Everything in my life is on Google Sheets, and I have a dashboard where I can see all of the key numbers. What was last month's revenue, the last 3 months of revenue, and the last 12 months of revenue? What was the cost of goods sold as a percentage? What was the gross profit? What was the net profit? How many workshops did we teach last week? How many errors did we have with those workshops? How many first-time appointments did the sales team have? How many outbound contacts did the sales people have? How happy are our customers rating us when we ask them to review us on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it over an 8 and over an 8.5? I can look at dashboards in a second and see all of this information. And that allows me to go, okay, everything's going well, revenue's great, clients are happy, finances are working smoothly, and I can go back to whatever else I'm doing. But you need the numbers and you need to see them regularly. But guess what? It only takes a couple minutes. Now, if you see a number is off track, then you can dive in, talk to some department heads, and figure out what's going on. I use a dashboard that has green if it's going well in the cell, or red if it's not. I don't care if it's red one time, but if it's red for multiple weeks, that's a problem. Now I know exactly what I have to fix because everything is based off of numbers, and I love numbers.
Number 5, for a service-based company, you have to recruit and onboard all the time. In fact, you are running a recruiting company, actually. When we had 20 instructors, then we had 40 instructors, then we had 60, 100. Now we have 250 instructors. We are basically a part-time recruiting company for what we do. We have 3 people whose job full-time is just recruiting, and 3 people whose full-time job is just onboarding these instructors and making sure the quality is there. You have to dial in the hiring process, which involves 1 interview to screen, a mock cooking class on Zoom, reference checks, background checks, hiring. You have to onboard them. You have to make sure they understand. They go through your training, the videos. They have to do a mock cooking class. They have to shadow instructors. All of these things are dialed in. So we have a funnel that just keeps the people coming in, and we always overhire. It's part of our business plan. If we have a client that needs 4 instructors, we'll hire 5. So we got a backup floater in case any days don't work out. You have to do this in the service world. So recruiting becomes its own department, its own job, and therefore, we're very good at hiring, very good at screening. Of course, a couple bad apples slip through a little bit, but we learn from those mistakes. We make sure that we have a constant flow of good instructors. If you gave us clients tomorrow, 100 schools, we could service it. It might take 45 days to do it, but because we have that dialed in, I don't have that problem most entrepreneurs have, where if I gave you $1 million of business, you couldn't service it. Your time is worth way more than you think, and I've always had some type of virtual assistant. Currently, I have one that's been working for about a year named Paula. She's in South Africa. I'm going to hire another personal assistant in Dubai because a lot of these jobs are not worth my hourly time. Let's just say, for example, you make $1 million a year. Divide that by 2,000 hours in a work year, and that your time is worth $500 an hour. So guess what? Stop doing low-income tasks. Okay, let's dial back even further. Let's say you make $100,000 a year. Divide that by 2,000. Your time is worth $50 an hour. So if you can hire somebody for $5, $10, $15, $20 an hour, you are saving time. You are saving money. You can do things to grow the business. So stop doing those things. Stop sending invoices. Stop checking your email. Stop following up when you don't have to follow up. Stop booking your own flights. Stop doing first and second interviews. Stop writing SOPs. You should be editing. You should be overseeing. You should be guiding, but you should not be doing all of the things because you can delegate it.
Start to delegate it so you can focus on the most important tasks. Without this thing, you are stuck in the weeds and there's no reason you don't hire somebody. I had a great assistant for $2,000 a month. My current one's about $3K a month. It's whatever your budget is. I prefer remote, but in-person works as well. But for the love of God, you should not be in charge of all those things I listed. My assistant takes care of all of those and just saves me time so I can focus on what I'm doing best, like making content like this and many other things. Number 7, you have to protect your calendar. You've delegated a lot of tasks, you have the space, but your calendar might get full very quickly. And what I do is I structure my days very strategically. I got this from Strategic Coach. I have a buffer day. A buffer day is when I do my meetings. So about 2 days a week, it's meetings, it's emails, it's project management, it's anything basic that doesn't advance the business. And I push everything that day. Do you have to meet with me? Do you have to talk? Do we have a meeting? It's going to be on those 2 days. I don't dot them throughout the week. I structure it so that it's all done. This frees me up for what are called focus days. A focus day is when you can do a high-level activity, usually sales or new product or service oriented or marketing that is absolutely important. For me, currently I do things like create content like this, which will last forever. I write newsletters that take a lot of thought and take a lot of my personal kind of focus to draft. And I do sales. I make calls. I talk to dental clinics. I follow up with dental clinics, but it's a whole day. And on those focus days, nobody bugs me unless it's a 9 out of 10 emergency or a huge sales opportunity. Other than that, my phone is off. You can't touch me, and my team knows that. Finally, there are the free days. Free day is just a day off. That's when you can do fun stuff. You can do stuff to recharge. You can do errands that you didn't get to. But having that structure really helps keep that calendar protected. And also my assistant knows this. So this way she can schedule things back to back. And you know what? As you get bigger and bigger, you have to stop doing some of the smaller meetings. You have to stop saying yes to coffees. I make amazing coffee at home. Or if I do meet for coffee, I make it convenient for me. I live in a 5-star hotel in the residencies part called The Address, and I can meet people in the lobby for a quick coffee. I walk downstairs, do the meeting, go back. Because again, time is such an important thing of what I do, and I've just delegated everything as best I can to make that always work in my favor when possible. Obviously, if something is high level, I drive to my coaches. I fly to workshops in London, across the world to make it happen. But the majority of things, Zoom works well. Conveniency is essential, and just make it so that you look at your calendar for the next week and it's structured to the way that works best for you. Lastly, last tip, and this is the most controversial way I grew to 8 figures, is I told my team what my vision was and let them take it from there. And true fact, I never had the dream of having an 8-figure business. I told my team, and I remember this conversation, hey guys, if I grow this company to 2 or 3 or 4 million in revenue, and through my net profit being about $1 million a year, I'm happy, I'm good, I'm done. You guys can do the rest. You can run the departments as president, as top of operations, top of sales. I'm good to go. However, they looked at me and said, no, we want to grow this. And I said, great, let's do it. I'll let you guys do it. I'm happy to help. I led the quarterly meetings. I set the quarterly priorities, but I let them do 90+% of the actual day-to-day work. And my real focus was to give them the direction to grow in a way that was effective, to grow in a way that could still maintain the quality of our service and our clients. And it's that vision that they had that they said, I want to grow up. Because you know what people like, and I've seen this firsthand, they like to be part of a business that is going up. So when the revenue goes up, guess what also goes up? Their salaries. I had situations where, as I mentioned, we hit big revenue goals we didn't even expect. That Philippine-based assistant sent me a picture. He bought a second house. He owns 2 houses. I had multiple staff members that in a single month, I paid them 5 figures. It's amazing when you hear stories like, hey, I can now stay at home and take care of my disabled son because I work for you. And I love that and appreciate it. I don't have to go to the office. I can be at home and I can be there for him. That stuff makes me special. I like to stay in touch with the team and hear those stories. And again, we have a lot of fun while we're doing it. We play board games on Zoom, we do activities, we host get-togethers. We'll even be having a couple in-person events later this year, including one big one in Dubai, when we hit another big milestone. But the key is, I have a great team and they can execute it, and then I can just refine things from the top. I still have to jump in every now and then because when you grow quickly, again, we grew from 1 million to 10 in a little over a year and a half. It's going to have a lot of bumps along the way, but a great team will get you going. And if this helped, drop a comment and ask me any of the questions that you might have about scaling businesses, and I'll answer questions.